with Tracy in LA. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast, Dance Journey. Today we have
Talyssa Cruz.
Yeah, Talyssa Cruz. We are here at Athletic Garage tonight because we took K-pop, which actually, Talyssa's, you've been coming to regularly, haven't you?
Yes. Sometimes I have really busy Tuesdays, but on free Tuesdays, I like going to K-pop.
Yeah. I feel like I've been watching your videos and you've been getting really good at it.
Really?
The last
Not after
couple.
this last one.
Tonight was rough for both of us. They also have like a variety of teachers. So Bridget taught it tonight. They're like on a team and they all like rotate teaching K-pop at Athletic Garage on Tuesday nights. And have you been taking from Bridget mostly or did you have other people?
I think there was another guy that taught. His name was Samus, I think.
Okay.
Samus? Ramus.
Ramus.
You get it. His name was Ramus. Yeah.
I think I've only taken Bridget of the K-pop group. It just happens every time I go. But
there was one other teacher, Nicole, and she taught a really, really difficult one, and I also struggled that day. But it was okay. It was still good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good when we struggle.
Yeah.
It's not the video part isn't as fun, but it means we're growing.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. Yeah.
Which I think we grew tonight. Did you look at the video yet?
Nope.
Me either. But we took so many because I was like, I need another chance. But basically, it was a really fun class. I think Bridget's a really good teacher. She's a very good dancer, and I also think she's a good teacher. Like, she has really good tips, and I always feel like I grow from her.
Yeah.
But tonight, just like the timing of it I was struggling. I didn't understand the timing of everything.
I think the style was very, like, boy group.
Okay.
And very clean and sharp. And I'm used to very fluid motions.
Yeah.
So it was definitely a challenge.
We're like, wait, this isn't contemporary K-pop? What? Contemporary K-pop. Like, take a K-pop dance and make it contemporary.
Oh my.
I feel like we could do that.
Yeah, I think Bridget, she typically does boy group choreo.
Okay.
Yeah, which is fun. It's just a lot harder for me.
Yeah. Maybe that's why it's so hard. She does it really good, though. I watch her at the end, and I'm like, she's just so in the pocket, and she just dances so well. So
the precision.
Yeah, a lot of precision. But, yeah, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we took it because I haven't been to K-pop in a while, and that was really fun. And it's, like, cooler now, so I wasn't dying.
Yeah. I actually went a couple of times in the last couple of weeks during the heat wave. And it was awful. I was drenched in sweat.
Oh, yeah. At 6:30 for this class, me too. The last few times I went, I was like, I'm just too hot.
Yeah.
I'm too hot to be here right now. There's no air condition. It's rough. But yeah, tonight I was like, ooh, the garage is open. It feels good. Yeah, so I liked it. Okay, so Talyssa, let's talk about how we met. It's a really great big story. Which is, I don't even remember. We just took class at Athletic Garage, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah, I remember seeing you back last year when I started taking classes here. But I was a little shy, so I didn't really reach out to people. And then I disappeared for 6 months because I got injured, and then I came back like last September.
Oh, okay, interesting. Wait, what did you injure?
So I sprained my ankle.
Oh.
I sprained my left ankle rock climbing.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a really bad sprain.
Oh, man.
The bruising went all the way up my calf.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wait, so how long ago from now was that?
So it was last April.
Okay.
And then I didn't dance.
This past April?
Not this
Two
past
Aprils
April.
ago.
2 Aprils ago.
Okay.
Yeah, last year's April.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then that put you out for 6 months?
For 6 months, and then I came back September.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's so interesting because I met you at Athletic Garage a long time ago, but then I really wasn't taking class at Athletic Garage.
Oh, so when you came back, you were like, oh, she's always
Yeah, I didn't know. I had no idea you got injured.
Yeah.
And that's a really long, I know, because not that long ago, I was injured for like almost a year, but I didn't know you had a 6-month thing. Yeah, and so but we follow each other on Instagram.
Yeah.
I do remember meeting you because I remember the first time you told me your name, Talyssa, and I was like, oh, Alyssa with a T. Like, I remember thinking about
that.
it.
You were like stretching before class.
I do remember we were stretching.
Yeah.
Like I remember vaguely meeting you, but we didn't talk that much. But then we were following each other on Instagram. But I was like never at Athletic Garage.
Yeah.
And then I think I told you, because you're always watching my stories, so I told you like, oh, I'm going to start coming to Athletic Garage. And you're like, and you said something like, oh yeah, I was wondering where you've been. And I thought that was kind of funny because I was like, gosh, I haven't been there in almost a year.
Yeah.
Didn't she notice I haven't? But it's because you also weren't there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So now it's all piecing together now. Oh my gosh, are you totally healed now?
Yes. Okay. Sometimes when we do like plies, I could feel it a little bit. Or if we do like poses where the right leg's out and then you bend the left leg.
Okay.
I could feel it a little bit.
Ugh.
Or even like going down on the floor. It's a little stiff, I guess.
Okay.
But I had PT and they said everything looked fine.
Okay.
I just need to strengthen it.
Okay.
So I think doing more dance classes has actually helped it a
Yeah.
lot. So it's a lot stronger. But I do notice that my turns on my right leg now are a lot better than my left leg.
Yeah.
Which wasn't the case before.
Yeah.
But I think it's just because of the injury.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That was my same experience. It was like I finally had to start going back to dance to get better, which I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you actually have to like build the muscle back, and like that's what starts to heal it once you've like rested it enough.
Yeah.
So, things you learn. Have you ever been injured before that?
I sprained my other ankle on a trampoline.
Oh my gosh.
That was a long time ago.
Okay.
And I think that was when I was in theater. So I was in like a county version of Les Mis.
Okay.
And I played like a beggar.
Okay.
And I had crutches off stage, but then on stage I was like already limping because
You're like, it fits my character.
yeah,
it's fine.
It fits. Yeah, I fit the character. So, but that was like a long time ago. But
Okay.
yeah, this was the most recent one, and it was a lot worse.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because I fell from like 8 feet.
Oh, you legit like fell.
Yeah,
I thought you just twisted it or something.
I was at the very top of. It was bouldering too, so there's no harness.
Oh my gosh.
I was at the very top, and I wasn't expecting to fall because it was the last hold, but the hold was like slippery, and I didn't realize it would be.
Oh my gosh.
And then I just fell, and then I was shocked, didn't correct my ankle to land, and then I just went.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Did you have to get taken to the emergency?
Yeah, I did, and then I got an x-ray to check if any bones were broken, but I think I definitely tore ligaments. Because like my ankle, I didn't know where it was. Like I'm like, where's my ankle bone?
Oh
for
my
like
gosh.
3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do you still rock climb now?
No. I think if I were to, I would only do top rope, which is like the one you're on a harness.
Okay.
And you have someone belaying.
Yeah. Okay.
But bouldering, every time I think about it now or watch people, I like get really sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
And
I
like
would
nervous.
too. What about like indoor bouldering?
That's where it was. It was indoor. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, you know what? That makes me feel less like dumb about how scared I was when I was doing that.
Yeah, no.
Because like you can still fall and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never wanted to go too high. I'm like, oh, if I go too high, then like I could actually fall.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it is fun. It's a good workout, but
Yeah, those were my 2 hobbies. It was bouldering and dance.
okay.
Yeah.
And now you're like,
And
just
now I'm
dance.
I'm just gonna dance.
Dance didn't injure you, so
Yeah.
you're staying with dance.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of dance, and this is a dance podcast. If you didn't know. Talyssa, what does your dance life look like currently? What are you doing these days?
Yeah, so I wanted to start taking dance classes again because I kind of rekindled my love for dance during college.
Okay.
And then I moved back home for a little bit. There were no studios near me.
Where's back home?
Back home is in Hollister, California,
Okay.
which is near Monterey and Salinas.
Yes. Okay.
So Bay Area, NorCal. But Yeah, I moved down to LA, and then I knew I wanted to continue dancing because I just started dancing again it was 2022.
Okay.
That winter.
Okay.
And then I didn't start dancing again till the end of 2022 when I moved to LA.
You moved to LA for a job?
I moved to LA for a job. My fiance was here. At the time, he was just my boyfriend. But I moved down to be with him. And then I just kind of like looked around because I knew there were a lot of studios down here. And I think Athletic Garage was the most approachable, it seemed. It seemed like there were a lot of levels.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of the studios here, people are professional.
Yeah.
And I wasn't ready to throw myself into that yet. I just started going to Athletic Garage. I started off with K-pop and then Tawny's jazz, beginner jazz.
I loved Tawny's jazz class.
Yeah.
I miss her.
I think that's where I met you.
Oh,
first.
probably, yeah.
And then ever since then, I've been dancing here and sporadically going to different studios as well.
Yeah, I feel like I've been seeing you at Movement Lifestyle, at Root. You said you just tried Roots.
Yeah.
Have you tried it anywhere else?
No, it was only Movement Lifestyle and Roots.
Yeah.
But I think on Thursday I'm going to try 88.
Nice. I'm trying that on Sunday.
Oh, nice.
I've never been there either.
Which class are you going to take?
I'm taking my first beginner heels class.
Oh,
for the podcast, actually. What are you taking? Cheer?
Cheer. No, I'm taking jazz funk.
Oh, nice. Because for some reason, when I think of that studio, I just think of cheer and heels.
Do they have cheer?
Yeah, they're one of the...
Palm?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they're one of the main studios that does a lot of cheer or palm classes, whatever they call it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's a studio I'm looking at up north in Sacramento that also has a palm class.
Okay.
I was like, that's so random.
I know, it's like becoming a bigger thing, I guess. Or maybe I'm just becoming aware of it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, I've taken one class at C Spot, which was also for the pod. I like branch out when I do the podcast because people pick classes, and so I tried my first like palm class, and it was actually surprisingly pretty fun, and it sort of made me want to take one at 88.
Is it very technical, like precise?
I mean, I just took one class, so I don't know if they all do it differently, but I mean, it just felt like a jazz class, but with really fun sparkling things in it. And it was kind of fun. I was like kind of like shaking these around. It was fun.
Okay, that's cute.
I know I was gonna ask you because you're moving soon. And where are you moving exactly again?
I'm moving up north to Sacramento County. I'm going to be like east of Sacramento, but it's still in that area.
Okay.
Not too far, like 30 minutes from Sacramento.
Okay. And have you already researched
Yes.
the dance? So is there dance studios there?
There is one called Sac Dance Lab.
Okay.
And they have different levels of jazz, contemporary, mostly hip hop. They also have a palm class, heels. There's a good variety of classes. And then there's another one that would be a little bit closer to me called Amped, but I think it's a lot smaller.
Okay.
I'm just going to try them out, see which one I want to buy the class package from. Because, I would want to be consistent still. I'm like moving up.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Are you feeling like excited about moving, or are you feeling sad or a mix?
It's bittersweet. It's like a mix of everything because I really love the resources I had in LA for my hobbies and dancing. But I'm also just really excited to live somewhere new. I think at my age, I'm just like, I don't really want to like settle down yet. So I'm just open to going anywhere as long as it has a dance studio nearby. The one place I found difficult to find dance classes was the Bay Area, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Like San Jose. I think it's mostly like hip hop, but I can't really find any jazz classes, contemporary classes there.
I used to live there, and I remember taking a tap class and maybe a hip hop class, and I don't remember the name of the studio. It was so long ago. But I know San Francisco has stuff,
yes,
but
SF
I don't know how far that would be.
It's pretty far, especially from where we may have potentially lived.
Yeah.
More in the South Bay of the areas. But, so there's a handful.
Yeah.
Not a lot, but I think it's enough for me because, you know, I've been consistently going to Athletic Garage, and I think that's fine.
Yeah. I know. It's been actually really great for me going. I've been trying to save money, which is the main reason I came back to Athletic Garage. Well, and also my new job is in Pasadena, and my old job was in Culver City.
Nice.
So it just made more sense for me to like stay out here more. And yeah, the class package is such a good deal. And
really
actually
is.
the teachers are really good, and I've been really enjoying it. It's also nice, you know, to hop around different places too, but this is such a great place to do. There's such a variety.
Yeah.
And you never know that when you start taking classes at those studios, you're going to meet dancers. They might know of some like hidden gems, like, oh, there's actually this teacher that runs this place, or like they might be able to tell you like other stuff. So
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure you'll figure it all out, or maybe you'll just open a studio and start teaching.
I don't know.
You never know what could happen. All the possibilities. So yeah, Talyssa, what I don't know about your actual dance story of like how it started. So when did you start getting into dance? As like a kid or an adult, or what was it? Or it was before college, but
Yeah, actually my parents put me in tap when I was like 5.
Okay.
And so I just remember seeing those little video recordings of me just not knowing what I'm doing on stage. I was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
And then I think I stopped dance, and then they just put me in a bunch of other things, so I didn't dance for a while. And then I started doing theater, and dance helps a lot with theater because there's a lot of musical numbers, and I was like always in ensemble because like I don't know why, but I don't know, but yeah, I started taking jazz classes and also tap classes.
And that was when you were in like grade school?
I was in like 7th to 8th grade. So that's when I started kind of dancing again. And I live in a small town, so it was a small studio, but it still really helped me build that foundation of dance. Yeah, and I was able to do tap numbers when I was in theater.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, I think being an ensemble member, you get to do a lot of dancing numbers.
Yeah, that is really fun.
That was honestly really enjoyable. So I continued on with dance. Up until probably junior in high school. And then my schedule started getting really crazy. So then I kind of just dropped it a little bit. I also think I was getting a little bit burnt out because I went to a new studio and I started taking a ton of classes there. Okay. So my whole life was dance.
Wow.
So school, dance.
Were you performing at all or just taking lots of classes?
I was taking lots of classes, and then they had like the end of the year recital and stuff. I never did any competition stuff. I'm not really a competitive person in some things, but yeah. So I got burnt out and I want to focus on school. And then I didn't dance. I went to community college, didn't dance, and then transferred to a university, and I went to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, and they actually have a really great dance program there. They have a dance company, and the dancers in that company are just really talented. Nice. And I was able to meet a lot of people just in passing, and they told me about their dance program and stuff. And yeah, I was honestly going through a little bit of a dark time during that year. And I was like, I need to do something to just kind of just lay everything aside for a little bit and like be creative and have an outlet to get any emotion out and all that. So I did enroll in a intermediate jazz class, which I was horrified because I was like, I haven't danced in so long and I'm doing an intermediate class. But it was actually really good for me, and I had a lot of fun. And I think my teacher was just really great. I really loved her, and she taught us the history of jazz, and like we wrote papers in the class too, which was really interesting. We did like Broadway jazz. We learned the different kinds of jazz, like Fosse and all that kind of stuff. We even like dabbled in like African style jazz, which was really cool. And then after that, I decided I was gonna do the spring dance concert.
Oh, cool.
And I was able to do 3 dance numbers.
Wow.
So yeah,
and you auditioned for that?
Yeah, we auditioned,
nice.
and then they cast you into pieces.
Okay.
And I was in a jazz number and a tap number and then a jazz contemporary number.
Wow.
And it was really fun. I have the video like in my computer, and sometimes I just like look back at it. I'm like, oh,
I want to see it.
Yeah, maybe I'll show you sometime.
Yeah, please send it to me. That's so cool. I love to see people perform who I've only seen like in class.
Yeah.
Because you don't always get to see all your friends, like your dance friends perform, except for every once in a while when someone's like, I'm actually in something or whatever. But.
Yeah, I actually really want to perform again.
Yeah.
Like, I want to join, like, a company or something.
Yeah.
Where I could actually learn numbers and keep on learning it for a period of time and then perform it.
Yeah.
Because I think, like, with the classes, you learn so much choreography.
In such a short time.
Yeah. And when you go to class often, you just kind of... You're just always learning new choreography.
Yeah.
I kind of just like want to master like a piece of choreo.
I am right there with you. I'm like, most of the time I'm just really content with class. I'm like, well, picking up choreo is a really good skill to have. And like the faster you can start picking it up, then you can kind of work on the technique a little and blah, blah, blah. But like for 2 classes, maybe, like if they do it around 2.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about auditioning for LA Unbound, which have you heard of that?
I have not.
Okay. Actually, like they do their auditions. I'm sad. Well, I'm sad for many reasons that you're leaving, but I wish you could have done this with me.
Yeah.
But they do, it's an adult, like non-competitive dance company type thing that does like 2 shows a year, and they basically hold auditions. They've been holding them at Athletic Garage. A lot of the rehearsals are in Pasadena, actually.
Oh, okay.
And all the different choreographers like showcase a little bit of their pieces, and they have like a sheet of like when the rehearsal nights are and blah blah blah. So you can go to the audition, watch everything, put down what you're like available for and like how many pieces you want to do, and then they do their best to cast. You do have to audition, but they try to cast everybody in at least one thing.
Okay.
And I haven't actually. I went to an audition once. It's a long story. I did get cast in something, but I didn't end up performing. I ended up dropping out.
Oh no!
It's a weird story that I don't get into. And it's totally fine. That was a couple of years ago. But I do kind of want to do it. I think I might do it next in the spring. They're doing one right now. But because I'm just like, I've been thinking the same thing. I'm like, I mean, I'm a little nervous I will get bored because I think they rehearse for like 3 or 4 months. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be bored doing the same thing. But like, I am tired of just like not being able to master. Like, I'm like, if there's certain moves in the dance, I can get really good at those moves and finally practice them over and over instead of just like, oh no, we're on to the next dance. And I still can't do an attitude turn or like, I still,
Yeah, you could also see like once your body gets used to the movement, you could kind of add in little things.
Yeah, like stylize it.
Yeah, stylize it, exactly.
Totally.
But yeah, that casting system that you're talking about is exactly what they did for the spring dance concert at my
I
school.
love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
I love that idea of just like, you're still getting to audition and they're still like looking for certain people for different things, but it's more community, like a community vibe than
That's
like
really
super
cool.
competitive, which I think is really cool. And yeah, hopefully there'll be opportunities. I'm sure when you meet dancers, you're going to find opportunities.
Yeah, I'll just like ask around, be like, is there any just like non-competitive things that I could be in? And then we'll see. We'll take it from there.
And what was your degree in college?
Graphic communication. So graphic design, print production, all that kind of stuff.
Nice.
So.
And that was what your job was here?
Kind of. I do freelance graphic design, but when I was here, I was actually designing LED neon lights, which is
that's
so
right.
random.
You told me that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still in the same industry, like quality control, and all that stuff. But yeah, I was just making like people would send their logos, and I'd make it compatible for an LED neon light.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what I was doing here, and it's like kind of creative. It's more technical, so having dance was like more of a creative outlet for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, wait, are you? I can't remember if I asked you this before. Obviously, they don't know anyways. But do you have a job lined up where you're going or no?
No.
Are you going to be looking for one or are you not looking for one?
So that's kind of up in the air just because of my current situation.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think I'm going to be looking and kind of refining my portfolio and resume after I get married. So.
Okay. Yeah, you're like, you have like a wedding to plan. Or...
Yeah, I don't want to be like,
you want to be stressed out with a new job.
I can't like start yet because I'm kind of busy.
Yeah, I'm busy. That's amazing. Now you can just like focus on that and go to a bunch of dance classes.
That's what I'm doing.
Why would you want to do anything else?
Yeah.
That sounds great. And then speaking of creative outlets though, you are also a very good artist.
Oh, thank you.
What kind of art? Is that called visual art?
Or just
art, regular art,
yeah,
not performing art. But like, because you have like an art Instagram.
Yeah, so that's like my art and design Instagram.
Yeah.
I actually haven't drawn in so long.
Really? It's so good.
Thank you.
I've looked at it before in the past, but then I recently re-looked at it and I was like, your style of drawing is so cool. And you draw like the bears, right?
I love bears.
And like they're so cool looking and
Thank
cute.
you.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have such a very like unique like voice in that kind of art too. And I'm like, I hope whether it's in your next job or just your own thing, doing something with it, I definitely think you should do something with that because it's really cool.
Yeah, so I think what happened was because I started doing graphic design, I kind of pivoted away from art.
Okay.
And I just like lost the spark. I'm like, I don't know what to draw anymore. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So now my creativity is kind of being channeled into dance.
Dance, yeah.
Which I'm not mad about.
No.
Because it's movement, it's exercise, it's art all in one. And yeah, I've been enjoying that. But I do eventually want to kind of join in my artist.
Yeah. Well, maybe the same thing will happen for you with art that happened with dance, where it kind of just got re-sparked.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I've totally had, like, I really like writing, and there was a long season where I, like, felt like I couldn't write. Usually writing is so natural for me, and I would just sit at the computer and be like, why isn't it coming like it used to? And I just didn't. I was like, I don't have it anymore. It, like, went away. I don't have creativity for this anymore. And that was like a few years or so. And I was kind of sad, but I was also like, I don't know. Guess I don't like it. I don't know. And then one day, like, I had this experience that kind of hit me a certain way. And I just all of a sudden was like, I have to write about this. And then all of a sudden I was writing so naturally. And then ever since then, I can write all the time. And
it was just like
nothing stops
like
it.
The spark of
it was like a spark came back, or like God like re-gave it to me or something.
Like
I don't know.
Like just like a motivation.
Yeah.
I think I have some of those moments every now and then. Like I think my last drawing was like a Shiba Inu dog.
Okay.
And it was like, it had like the great wave in it. That was like my one spark of motivation in college. And then after that, it was so dry.
It's so hard with creative stuff. Like, sometimes I feel like, I can't do anything creative, like come up with choreography or write something unless I'm just like inspired. But other times I think, no, it's just discipline. I just have to say, from this time, I'm going to just work on this, even if I don't feel creative at first. And sometimes that works. If I just say, I'm just going to, every 3 times a week, I'm going to spend this time trying to make up some choreography or something.
Yeah,
eventually
actually.
It does seem to work eventually.
Yeah.
But it's not the same feeling as when you're just like, here it is, I have it. Just like,
I
don't know.
I have been trying to like make my own choreography.
Nice.
But it's so hard for me to imagine what I have in my head and then kind of translate that into real life. So, I don't know. Maybe
So you see it in your head first?
Yeah, I'm just like, ooh, yeah. Like, I picture this. And then I try it and I'm like, eh.
That's so funny. That's what I used to say back in the day when I very first started taking dance, which was like 5 or 6 years ago. I used to tell people I took class with, I'm like, I really want to be a choreographer, but I see these things in my head of like what I want it to look like, but I can't do them. I just like, and I remember this guy being like, you're going to be able to. And I was like, thanks for saying that.
Nice.
I'm like, I see all these turns and I see all these things and I can't really do them. But now I just kind of, ever since I like taught a couple beginner jazz classes.
Yeah, you had your first little class.
Yeah,
right?
I like, for some reason that was a lot less intimidating for me. I was like, I'm coming up with dance for beginners. So I'm not trying to come up with the craziest dance I can think of in my head. I'm just like, oh, I'm trying to come up with simple moves. And for some reason that released me to like where I felt freer making the choreography. Because I'm like, I'm not trying to make it super cool. I'm just trying to make it like approachable for someone who's new.
That's true.
And then it was like easier. And then I was actually having more fun and like, I can do this.
Nice. Maybe
like,
I need to
maybe try that.
change my thinking too. Because I'm always like, we're gonna do like cool things.
Yeah, you just like want it to be the coolest, but you're like, if it's one of the first times you're choreographing, like
you gotta fail sometimes. So
like who you're trying to impress. Like it's so funny because I think for my birthday class I tried to make it a little bit harder because I didn't advertise it as a beginner, and so I put some like little bit harder things because I wanted it to be cool, and like it was kind of hard for people, and I realized, oh my gosh, Tracy, like when you take a class, it's so much better to like just really learn it well and leave feeling like you knew it. Like you never want a teacher that's like throwing more and more and more choreo at you to try to get their piece out that they wanted. You know, you want a teacher who's like, okay, this is where the class is at. This is where we're going to end. Doesn't matter.
Gauge where the
and
class
so
is.
It kind of reminded me, I'm like, Tracy, just go back to creating beginner jazz. Like you're trying to throw like a minute combo at these people, and it had some weird stuff in it that I put in there that I thought was cool. I'm like, I just need to go back to what I was doing before. But that's cool that you want to do that. Okay, I was gonna ask you, like, do you have any, like, I guess you want to perform, you sort of like maybe want to try choreographing at some point. Like, do you have any like grand vision for dance, or is it just like, I want to keep growing and maybe find some different opportunities?
I think dance is strictly like a hobby.
Just hobby. Yeah.
It's not anything like a career.
Yeah.
Because for like my career, I definitely want something more like stable and more technical.
Yeah.
I'm really good with like computers and stuff, so I would want to have that for like my 9 to 5 and then be able to just for dance.
Well, you're a very good dancer for someone that is good with computers. I feel like there are definitely people like that, but I feel like it's more rare, or at least lately for me, it's been more rare to talk to someone who's like, no, I legitimately like want a job with computers during the day.
Yeah.
Most of the dancers I interview are like, ooh, office job, yuck, or whatever. But like, I can kind of go either way. Like, I don't necessarily love having an office job, but at the same time, I am kind of good with computers too. Not necessarily in the same way as you, like not to that degree technically, but I'm very good. I'm like a very fast typer. I'm like very organized with stuff on computers.
Same, yeah.
I actually love emailing. And literally my job right now, I'm mostly just organizing files. And like honestly, the day goes by really fast because I kind of like doing that.
Yeah, I like doing that stuff too.
Yeah, but so I can relate to that.
Yeah. I mean, I do want to continue improving, obviously.
Of course, yeah.
I want to be able to start going to, like, more advanced classes and studios. I want to be able to, like, go to LA and go to Millennium.
Yeah, which you totally can do that right now.
I can, but it's so intimidating.
I don't know if you noticed this, but first of all the stuff you've posted that you've gone to like harder studios, like they've looked really good.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you've noticed this, but I noticed this, like even though technically it's like a harder, I mean, athletic garage classes are hard too. It's hard everywhere. That's but true. Some of these studios are just like, you know, have a lot of professional dancers, is like a little bit intimidating sometimes. But something I've noticed is, even though it's technically maybe a harder class or there's more advanced people, but the teachers are also often very, very good at teaching.
Yes.
Like, so even though it's a harder class, like that teacher, like just had this like perfect way of teaching it where I was like, that was almost easier than some of my other classes just because like they are such a good teacher that I was able to like pick it up. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I noticed that sometimes.
Yeah. Actually the class I went to yesterday at Ruts, the teacher was telling me like, she tried doing all these cool, like, really difficult choreography. And she said, like, why am I doing this? Like, I'm not, like, having fun, like, trying to look the coolest.
Interesting.
And so that's why she started doing beginner choreo. So she
That's
could,
just like what I was saying.
Yeah, so she could kind of, like, help the new generation of dancers. And what I like about Roots is their classes are a little bit longer. So I think it was like 7:30 to 9.
Yeah.
So she really broke everything down. She used examples. Like, she's like, you want to make sure your arms feel heavy here.
I love that. That's specific.
Yeah. Like, she was very descriptive when she was going through the movements, and I really appreciated that, even though she's like a really great dancer.
That dance looked really cool, and it didn't, you told me it was beginner, but like it didn't look beginner. It looked really cool.
Really?
Yeah.
No, she just taught it really well.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it was beginner.
Yeah.
So. You could have done it too.
I mean, yeah. I wish I would have. No, my class was good too, but oh no, it looked really cool. That's the thing about LA. It's like, it's good that we have so much to choose from, but sometimes it's like too much.
Oh yeah.
Like, so you're gonna go where you're going, and like you're gonna be like, okay, these are my classes. You're gonna maybe find some extra things people tell you about, but sometimes in LA, it's like, there's 6 different classes going on in different studios that I want to be at right now, and I can't be everywhere at once, you know? But it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah. I just chose Athletic Garage because it's 8 minutes away from me.
Oh, me too. It's 8 minutes from me too.
Yeah, everywhere else, I'm like 20 minutes. Like, I just commuted today. Like, do I want to go out another 20 minutes?
I love that 20 minutes is like far for you. I used to drive like over an hour to get like to the studios that I wanted to go to.
Okay.
Because I was crazy. But now that I'm barely driving at all, I'm becoming like that too. I'm like, okay, do I really want to? Because right now my work is 4 minutes away, and Athletic Garage is like 8 minutes away, and so I barely drive now. So now thinking about driving somewhere farther, I'm like, okay, I can, but like, all right, I really think about it.
Yeah, I mean, like growing up, all my studios were an hour away.
Really?
Yeah, because Hollister didn't really have many dance programs, so I'd travel up to the Bay Area, so, like San Jose, and take classes, and that was like an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes even more, and then an hour back. So like 2.5 hours a day driving just to go to dance class. Yeah. But I went to Cal Poly, and there's like 0 traffic there. You get from A to B like in 10 minutes. Yeah. And I got really spoiled. So then when I went to LA, I was like, 20 minutes is so long. So yeah, I think just like the different stages in life just kind of changed my opinions on commuting. Even though I know I could commute an hour if I really wanted to. Yeah. I just got used to not commuting. So Athletic Garage is the place for me.
Well, and just the fact that it just has so many different kinds of classes. So you don't really have to. Like,
exactly.
You're like, oh, I'm in the mood for tap. I'm in the mood for Bollywood, or just there's so many different things. So.
And like I feel like not a lot of studios offer just jazz.
Yeah. It is harder to find.
Yeah, it's hard to find, and they either don't offer it, or it's earlier in the day during work. And I'm like, come on. Yeah. So I really like Delaney's class, and then when Addison subs as well, and Allie as well. Yeah. I think jazz is like my main style right now. Yeah.
And Sarah, contemporary.
Oh yeah,
you've been coming to that.
Yes.
I feel like Sarah's been my main teacher lately here, but yeah, Sarah, Delaney, and then I recently tried Lolly.
Okay.
Have you taken that?
I've taken her once.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually like, I ended up really liking it. In the beginning, it was so like, the warm up was just so flowy, and sometimes I just. I'm like, let's pick it up. You know, like,
is this bedtime contemporary?
Bedtime. We should totally have a class called Bedtime Contemporary.
Like after you're just like ready to sleep.
But now, I mean, but like I actually loved her choreo, and I'm getting a little more used to this like flowiness like in the beginning, because I actually took Sarah's Contemporary like a couple years ago or something, and I was just like, I mean, I liked it, but I was like, there's just so much improv. She does so much improv in the beginning, and like, why are we spending so much time on improv? That's what I said after I first took her class a long time ago. Now I'm like a different person. I'm like, oh, this is so nice. We lay on the ground. We just like, we rub our hands together like we're little insects.
Crickets. Yeah.
I actually love it. Like, I take her like kind of hard ballet class right before, and I'm like, oh, but in a few minutes we're gonna be on the floor like kicking our legs around,
imagining our eyeballs are melting in our skulls.
I literally love it. I'm like, how did I not love this 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Even like going across the floor with improv. Oh yeah, and you and me did that funny. We did that. Oh, yeah. She had us go in partners improv across the floor, and one person had to do positive space and one person had to do negative space. So like, Talyssa, you were the positive person. I was like doing
expansive movements, and then you were trying to fill in those spaces.
Yeah, so I was like trying to go like under her arms or like over
tripped
her.
You,
and I think I kicked you, but it was pretty fun. I was like peering. At first, I felt really awkward, but then by the end of the room, I was kind of peering at ourselves in the mirror, and I was like, we kind of look cool. Yeah. But then what's funny is this last Saturday, you weren't there, right? Mm-mm. She did it again, and I was with this really tall guy, and Sarah was encouraging us to do either the positive or the negative, whatever we thought was harder for ourselves to do that. So I told him, well, last week I did the negative, and I actually think the positive would be harder for me. And he was like, yeah, he's like, I think the negative would be harder for me. And then I was like, so we should do that. He goes, no, I think we should stay with our comfort zones, actually. And then I was like, actually, I think you're right, because you're really tall, and I don't know how I'm going to be the positive person. Because he would have had to, like, go under. I was like, yeah, you're right. Let's just stay in our comfort zone. So I did the negative again. And then I was trying to, like, sort of do different things. I was trying to, like, put my leg, like, he would kind of go low, and I wanted to kick my leg over him to try to be cool, but then I kept getting scared, like he's gonna get up and I'm gonna fall. So I didn't do anything that crazy, but anyway, so she always does like experimental improv stuff, which is like, I actually think it's fun now. It's like a little intimidating, but
I love the prompt she does. She's like, you're gonna go across, there could only be like a max like 5 people on the floor, and you can only walk, jump, or was it jump, run, or skip? Yeah. And I was like, oh, I love that. Yeah. You could be like kind of silly.
It is. She does have really unique prompts, and she's like, okay, it has some people on one side, some people on the other side. And then she's like, just come out whenever, but you have to stay in these lanes, and there can't be more than this many people out there. So if you see that, you have to get off. And so you're kind of thinking about a lot of stuff, but you're not really thinking about dancing, because she's like, you can only jump, walk, or fall on the floor or something.
Yes, exactly.
So it kind of takes off the pressure, and you just are like, oh, I'm just being a human. I'm not trying to do like a quadruple pirouette to impress everybody. Because sometimes I've taken some contemporary classes at Millennium, and they do improv across the floor, and like everyone's showing like their best stuff, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I get like intimidated, but whatever, it's all good. It all pushes you. But Sarah's class, I've learned to really love it. And then Lolly's is even more like flowy, and I actually was like, you know what, this is awesome too. I've had a long day. This kind of class feels great, actually. So highly recommend. We're getting close to the end here, Talyssa. Let's see if there was anything else that I really wanted to ask you. I think you answered a lot of my questions already. Here's what I wanted to ask you. What is an area that you feel like you're either really good at or have gotten better at recently, dance-wise, or that people compliment you on? I'll help you with it if you can't. And I was going to also say, what is an area that you really want to, like, if there's an area you really want to work on?
Okay, I guess I'll start with, like, how I want to improve.
Okay.
Body awareness.
Okay.
Because sometimes when I'm looking back at my videos, I'm like, what is my hand doing? It's like doing some claw like on the side. I'm like, what is that? Like I didn't even know that was there.
I do the same thing. I'm like, especially with my arms and my hands, especially if they didn't give something specific, they tend to just be like flailing or I do this weird thing where I kind of like really jazz out my hand when that's not part of the choreo. And I'm like, why does it look like that? I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah, no, there's some moments where I was like, ooh, that is ugly. But then like it would like the rest of the video would be good. And then it was just like that one stupid little claw. I'm like, oh, it's okay. But yeah, I would like to work on body awareness.
Okay.
Just like making sure like I'm aware of like every part of my body. Because like every single part combined, it like works together to like make a pretty picture.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to work on that. Something I have improved on since I started dancing is choreo retention.
Yeah.
Especially with like jazz and stuff. Not today. I don't know what happened today.
It was just a hard. I feel like everybody was feeling that.
Yeah. Yeah, today was hard, but like especially with these styles that I'm more used to, like jazz, and like contemporary as well, I have been able to kind of like lock in the choreo and be more confident when it came to doing like performing in groups. I think groups like freaked me out at first too, so the nerves obviously kind of overcame, but now I feel like I could be more confident and just be able to like trust my body that it knows the choreo, and most of the time it's good. Sometimes I'm like, oh, did I like turn off the stove like in the middle of a combo? And then I'm like, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, where am I? Yeah, my brain kind of like leaves sometimes.
So funny. It's funny that you talk about the stove because I've had this weird OCD thing lately where I keep checking the stove. Like I'll see that I turned it all off and I'll walk out of the kitchen and be like, wait, let me check it again. It's like a weird thing, and I'll check it sometimes 3 times, and I'm like, do I have like a disorder all of a sudden?
Oh my god!
Like because I didn't used to be like that. Well, one time I left one of them on, so I think I'm a little traumatized by it. Like nothing happened, but so it's just really funny that that's the thing that you said, because I'm like, oh my gosh, does she know my deep dark secret that I'm like OCD with the stove being turned on?
It's very relatable. I feel like a lot of people would relate to that.
I don't think I thought about it during the dance because I already checked it 4 times before I left.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's how I get myself to not think about it.
Yeah.
But that is really funny. Yeah. Sometimes I'm generally like I either ate too much before dance and I'm like feeling like, oh my gosh, why did I eat all that? Or I'm thinking about food because I'm like, I didn't eat enough and I'm like starving and I'm like, what am I going to eat when I get home? Like, oh, Tracy, pay attention to the choreography.
No, there are just some days where my brain is just not present and like, it sucks because like I paid for this class. Like I want to be present.
Yeah.
But yeah, some days are just off. And then those are the days where I'm like floppy noodle, doing claws with my hands. Yeah, I like the beginning of the choreo, like we're about to start, and my brain is like thinking about something else, and then I'm like, oh, I need to lock in right now.
I'm totally the same. So when you have a video that turns out like floppy whatever because you were in another place, do you still post the video?
No. If it's like really bad, then I'm like a little embarrassed. I'm just like, okay, maybe not my proudest one. Maybe not today.
I feel like you post. Well, you always look good to me.
Oh,
I mean, we judge ourselves so much harder than we judge each other. But I feel like if you do have something you didn't like about it, you always write like funny things on your stories and stuff. So it's like fun to watch them.
Yeah, that's true. But I think another thing that I'd like to work on, I guess ties into body awareness, but my face.
Okay.
Like, I look mean.
Facial expressions.
I look like I want to beat someone up
really?
when I dance. And it'd be like a super, like, cutesy dance, and I'm just like... and I'm like, oh, why do I look so mad? I look so depressed.
I never noticed that, but now I'm going to think about it.
No,
I do weird things to my face too. I used to always actually had a teacher that was working with me that'd be like, she'd be like, why you always go like this? I was like pursing my lips the whole time because I'm just like thinking so hard. So I've tried to just like, sometimes I just tell myself, just smile. Whenever I smile when I'm dancing, it always looks better. So if it's like a contemporary dance and we're supposed to be feeling it and I'm trying to just give my face like feeling emotion, I always look weird. I'm like, what? Why do I have my face look crazy? And I was just trying to be like, contemporary, you know? But if I just say to myself, who cares that it's serious, just smile.
Yeah.
It usually looks better.
I need to smile more because I think, like, I tried doing too much attitude to get out of, like, the RBF.
Okay.
And then when I do too much attitude, my mouth is just open. Like, I'm gonna catch some flies or something. And I'm like, and then sometimes I, like, lip sync. I like sing to the music, but like
bad,
it looks weird because I'm like not even. I don't know. It just looks strange. I'm like, I just need to smile.
Some people do that though.
Yeah,
it could be a vibe if you like just embrace it.
Not for me.
You're like, not for me.
Yeah, but I need to learn how to just like pleasantly smile.
Yeah,
because I think it just like elevates the dance no matter what kind of choreo it is.
Yeah, and you can make it mean whatever you want. It's like a sad song, but maybe I'm smiling about it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like I do this pretend serious face, and then as soon as the dance ends, I smile really big because I think it's funny. Because I'm like...
Yes.
Because I'm kind of being fake.
Yeah.
And then when I smile at the end, I'm like, oh, there I am. Yeah. I'm like, why wasn't I just doing that the whole time?
For me, I like am serious, and then if I mess up, I'm like, like mid combo, and I'm like, why am I only smiling when I mess up?
But that looks cute.
Yeah, I'm like, now people notice. Like now people know I messed up because I'm laughing at myself.
Like just laugh the whole time, then nobody will know.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Aww.
But yeah, I honestly don't know, like, what, like, people would compliment me on.
Oh, I forgot. You didn't even say that one.
Yeah,
oh, yeah. Well, you said you were getting better at picking up choreo, but then, yeah, as far as, like, specifics, yeah, well, have you had people compliment you?
People would just say, like, it looked good, I liked it, and I'm like, what?
What specific?
What about it?
Specifics are helpful.
Yeah, so I'm like I don't 100% know, like, what is
or like
good.
What if when you watch your videos, is there something, I know we always judge ourselves, but is there something you're like, oh, I kind of like how I'm doing this lately, or something like that?
Yeah, I think, like, I think I'm slowly getting better at, like, cleanliness and technique.
Yeah.
Although there's some days where I'm like, ugh, no technique. But I think because I've been taking technique and strengthening with Delaney.
Delaney, such a good class.
Yeah, I think I've been getting a lot better than I was before.
Yeah.
But still, like, I still have a lot to work on.
Yeah.
But...
Well, I will just go ahead and compliment you because your leaps are always amazing. I always tell you that because I see your leaps. Because right now, there was a time in my life where my leaps weren't terrible. I don't know that they were ever, like, amazing, but because I'm still working on getting my splits in general, and then it's even harder to, like, get anything close to that in the air. But you really get that height and you get your legs out really straight. And
thanks.
I am always like, dang, Talyssa. So that's one thing
jumping.
That's good.
I love leaps.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's very obvious that you're good at that. And then, but something I've noticed as I've been, like, watching all your videos and seeing you in class, I feel like it's like your quality of movement or like your musicality actually is, I think it's, I don't know if I would say improved. I don't remember it being bad. I just know that recently a lot of your videos look really good where you're just
thanks.
like, you're really, like, in it. Even the one from yesterday, I was like, dang, you looked really good. And you seemed like really in it and just like feeling like the dancing of it. Like that's something I struggle with. Like I'll memorize the choreo, but sometimes I forget to, like, dance it. I'm just, like, doing it, but I feel like you are, like, your whole body is getting in it.
Really? Because I feel like that's something I need to work on.
Well, I think you're getting better at it because I've been specifically noticing that it's, like, looking good.
Yeah,
so
maybe I'm just hard on myself.
I think so. We just all are.
Yeah, because, like, sometimes I look, I'm like, okay, well, I got the choreo down, but am I, like, dancing?
Yeah. No, I think you definitely are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes me feel better. Because I'm just like moving.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like that's how I felt last night in my class. I felt like there was a girl that was really good that I just kept watching because she was, like, really dancing it. So I was, like, watching her in her group and trying to, like, get inspired by her because I kind of knew the choreo, but I just felt like sometimes I just jump it, sort of like I bounce the movements instead of like, oh, I'm dancing it, you know? And so I was thinking about that and I was kind of being hard on myself in my head. And in the midst of all that, Addison was like, she was giving us encouragement to try something a certain way or something, and then she looks at me. I couldn't even believe she was looking at me, and she goes like, you're performing it. You're really performing it. And I was like,
okay, Tracy.
What? I'm like literally bringing this up because I was shocked, because all I was thinking about how I wasn't really dancing it well. I was just kind of like doing the movement. That's how I felt. And she was like, you're really performing it. She's like, I really want everyone to just start performing it. I was like, wait. I literally was like, is she talking about me?
Wow, Tracy.
So that was kind of nice, because kind of like you're saying how you're like, oh, that's something I thought I had to work on. Like, that's kind of for me too. Like, I was told by teachers for years to like perform it more, or like dance it more, or get more into it. And so, I mean, I don't think that was like my best like last night at all by any means, but like her saying that was like, oh, maybe I have like at least grown a little bit in that area. Like maybe, which is why it's so nice to have people say specific things to you.
Yeah.
And I think it's a challenge for us as dancers, because we're thinking about ourselves so much. Just because we're like stressed about the choreo, or it's not because necessarily it's like a bad thing. It's just like we're thinking about like, oh, knowing the choreo for our group or whatever. But like when you're paying attention to the other groups, to really think about it specifically, so you can give someone a specific like encouragement or something, you know, because it's so nice to get that. And it's like, I think it helps the whole dance community when we do that. And if you didn't really have the ability to watch in class because you were just kind of stressed about learning the choreo and everything, then it's really nice after class to be like, oh, people posted it. Now I can really like relax and watch them and and actually give them like some nice feedback or something.
Yeah,
so.
I love like watching when people post their stuff too. And I'm just like, oh, like I like seeing how they stylize the choreo. And I think there's another thing that I need to work on. It's my neck. My neck is so stiff.
Oh my gosh, me too. I have the same exact problem.
Because like they'd be like, it's free movement, and then my neck's like, no.
Yeah, like my whole body will be free, but my neck is like, oh, literally. I've talked about this on the podcast at least once, maybe twice, because I have a teacher that talked about how when he was training as a younger person, he had a teacher telling him to stop keeping his neck stiff or something, and she was like following him in the room and being like, I forget, she was like saying stiff neck to him as he was dancing or something. I was like, oh my gosh, it sounds really stressful, but I guess it's a problem that people have, and it is a problem that I definitely have. I'm like, I can't get loose, like and like there's so much movement where you can just let your head go a little bit, and I'm like, no, it's right here.
I think for me is because I have weak ankles right now, like I feel like my balance is thrown off if I move my neck or my head like too much.
Okay.
So I try like keeping it still to keep my balance.
Yeah.
But I just need to let it go sometimes and like let my body learn those movements and then it'll start adjusting to it. Yeah. And balance, like starting to balance itself out. But and some, especially in jazz, there's a lot of moments where you could like really use your neck and like make it sassy. But yeah, I could tell that I'm just like very, like, it doesn't want to go back. It doesn't want to go side.
That's so funny. I feel like we're so similar in some of those things. Something I'm starting to try to do is tell myself a specific thing to work on in a class, like, or like maybe once the combo starts and I think of something, I'm like, okay, Tracy, like, today we're going to think about strong arms, like have strong arms. Because I literally asked you to say something good and something to work on, and you gave me like 80 things you want to work on, because that's how we are as dancers. Yeah. We don't focus on all the good things we do. We focus on like the 80 things we want to fix or whatever. But it's kind of hard to think about all those things. So like if you're learning a combo, if one of those things is pretty applicable to that combo, being like, okay, or even a technique class, like this is something I really want to work on, because I can't think about 50 things I need to work on. So it's like, what can I focus on? Like, or today I'm just going to focus on releasing my neck more. Just like trying to do that. Because like, it's all about the growth. Yeah. We just want to grow. Yeah. I don't know. That's true. That's what I think every dancer just like has a strong drive to grow, whether it's because they're doing it for career or they just love it. Yeah. I still feel like we're all just like really trying to grow, and it's so fun.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Oh, Talyssa, I'm gonna miss you.
Yeah, I miss you too.
Okay, I already asked you this, but I didn't ask you on the podcast. When is your last day here again?
The 28th, which is a Saturday.
The 28th of September. Yeah. Because this might, I don't know when, this is probably coming out in October.
Yeah. But it's the 17th now.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah. Are you gonna visit?
I'm hoping. I mean, yeah.
You have a lot of friends here, right?
I do, yeah. So if I visit, I'd probably, like, will drop in. If it's during the week, I'd probably try to drop into a dance class or two. But
Where's your family?
They're everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was like, do you have family here?
I do. One of my brothers is in Orange County.
Okay.
And then my eldest brother and mom are in Washington State. So, yeah, we're very separated.
I was just like, is there anything here that's going to bring you back for sure? Okay.
My brother, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aw. So. I feel like just as I started going back to Athletic Garage, and just as I guess you kind of did too.
I know.
I'm like, oh, no, she's leaving.
I know.
But
I'm
at
sad.
least, I know. But it'll be fun to see, like, the places you discover and see your posts, and, like, maybe we'll even see some art too.
Yeah,
you never know what's gonna happen.
Rekindle that. Yeah.
Thanks, Talyssa. Well, thanks for taking time.
Thank you.
And it's in this late night. It feels like it's so late because it's so dark.
Yeah.
But
September.
yeah, here we are in the fall. It actually feels like fall today. So yeah, thanks for taking the time. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And like and follow and subscribe and all those things. And we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.